Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Testing, testing. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. Not sure why the sound went out at all. Nevertheless, I was I was reading in Nelson's Illustrated Bible Dictionary about liberate marriage. So it's on page 685. Just to give us some more explanation of what it is. A liberated marriage is a form of marriage prescribed by the law of Moses in which a man was required to marry the widow of a brother who died with no male heir. The term liberate means husband's brother. The purpose of the law was to provide an heir for the dead brother, thereby preserving his name and estate. So he would receive, the heir would receive an inheritance, and the man's name would not be blotted out of Israel. In addition, it said the law also was designed. Now, when I was saying that how the Lord has it to where he has things in place for women to take care of women, to take care of children. So in a place when there was in this instance, widows will be taken care of. It says as well. It says the law also was designed to provide for the welfare of widows. Then it goes on to say the story of Ruth and Boaz recorded in the book of Ruth is a good example of the liberate form of marriage. So let's take a look at that. Let's go to the book of Ruth. The book of Ruth. We'll pick it up at right after the book of Judges. Pick it up at Ruth chapter chapter 1. And just to show you an example of the liberate in the way of thinking here. This is chapter 1 and verse 12. So it says in verse 11, it says, and Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there any more sons in my womb that they may be your husbands? Okay, so as you see here, this is, if you don't know the story, this is Naomi. She's an Israelite. She has sons. They married women of Moab. Okay, both her sons died. And that's why she makes that statement. She says, turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I'm too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and shall also bear sons, will ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. Okay. So, and we know that Orpah left, Ruth stayed. Ruth stayed. Your people, she said, your people will be my people and your God will be my God. And this is established, this liberate law, you keep reading and it is fulfilled. This is in Ruth chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, and it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid. This is talking about Boaz. See, people, when people talk about Boaz, they think of it as some romantic story, like you would watch Jerry Maguire, You Complete Me, or The Notebook, or some. This is not what was taking place. And just a side note, it's more likely that he was already married. He was a man of means, and you see there were other clues to indicate that perhaps he was certainly already married, as if he was an older man. That's also, you can infer that as well. It is not as if he was sitting around waiting on Ruth. But he was the one that fulfilled this. So it says, so while he's, it says, and it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thy handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. Then it says, and he said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou requirest, for all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman. Then it says, and now it is true that I am thy near kinsman. Howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. Okay, so there was a relative that was actually nearer to her deceased husband. I don't know what's going on, but I'm almost finished. Bear with me. So, nevertheless, it says, I want to read verse 1 in chapter 4. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, hold such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And I make that point because that man's name is not ever even given. It said, hold such a one that is of no significance. But we know Boaz, and we know he fulfilled this, and we know from him, it says in chapter 20, verse 21 of chapter 4, and Salmon begat Boaz, and Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David. So this is key. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to say I thank you for your time. And I pray you were edified.